One thing that I considered before taking the leap and getting a silencer was I didn't know how the heck to do it or how intimidating the process was or what it's involved. So I figured it'd be a good service to the community to go over what it takes to get a silencer using an ATF Form 4. This is the process that will put the silencer in your name personally, not in a trust. There are multiple ways of doing this. One variety is the way we're going to discuss today, the one I have experience with. The other is to create a trust and then to purchase the silencer through the trust and name yourself as a trustee. And you can do the benefit of that route is that when you pass away, you can add your children to the trust. It can be passed through the family without going through the process of paying more tax stamp money. So, the first thing you're going to do in the style that I've done here, where you put it in your name, is you're going to go buy a silencer. So you're going to go to your local gun shop if they have a silencer, or you can search online and find a person local to you who's an FFL dealer who has silencers and the ability to transfer them. This is really going to be probably your most important step. It can make or break your experience if you have someone who's done it before, who's friendly and open to people who haven't done this before, who's willing to help you through the process. It's not that big of a deal, but it can be intimidating for the first-time buyer. So the first thing you're going to do is go get your silencer. Choose wisely what you want, what caliber you want. Don't just buy what they have, because this is something that's going to be a permanent purchase for you. It's probably the resale on silencers isn't going to be great just because the process is intensive and takes a long time. So once you have it, you're probably going to keep it. I have a 5.56 silencer here, and this is or suppressor, however you want to call it. Legally they call them silencers, I think, on the form, so that's just what we're calling them here. This is a Griffin Armament, which is owned by Hearing Protection LLC. Spartan 2, I believe, and this is a 27 dB sound reduction, or however you rate silencers. Not too much into the technicalities of them. I just like the way they work. So, first thing to do, pick out your silencer, pick your caliber, and purchase it. So you're going to pay up front for your silencer. This one was $400. You pay your dealer. Your dealer holds your silencer. You don't get to touch it. Well, you can touch it, but you don't get to take it until your Form 4 is processed. So the dealer should fill out your Form 4 for you as far as their information and that sort of thing. And then there's a few things for you to fill in, like your name and your address and all that sort of stuff. The normal things you'd fill out when you go to purchase a gun. Now there's one spot, we'll write this down. So step 1, buy silencer. And this is the same, I believe, for anything else controlled by the Form 4, so your machine guns and other destructive devices, I think, are on there. But I only have experience with the silencer, so we'll talk about that. So buy your silencer. There's one thing on the form that you're going to want to fill out that says, it asks you what is your purpose for obtaining the silencer. Just put there all legal purposes. You don't want to limit yourself on a legal document to one use. I mean, it's probably never going to come up. It's probably not going to be an issue, but it's a good idea to put all legal purposes there. Okay, so you've bought your silencer. Your dealer's filled out his portion of the paperwork. You filled out yours. You're going to need to take it down to your local county sheriff. Go to the sheriff's office. Most of them should just sign them right then and there, and maybe you run a NICS check, and that's about it. Now, my sheriff, in Michigan, I'm not going to say exactly where, but my sheriff makes you go through a process where you drop the paperwork off with them. They overlook it for 2 weeks to up to a couple months, which I think is insane, but I'm not in any rush, I guess, so if they have to do it, they have to do it. They'll interview you the last 10 years. They'll ask you where you've worked in the last 10 years, where you lived in the last 10 years, blah, 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 why you want it, all this sort of infringing nonsense, and bottom line is they're going to sign it. They're just kind of just intimidating you or something. So, while you're at the sheriff's office, you're going to need to have 2 federal fingerprint cards. They're going to be the blue ones. Make sure that you fill that card out properly and that they help you through all that. If you need to, there are places online where you can get a definition of, say you're putting your eyes are brown, the exact abbreviation for brown, or if you spell it out and that sort of thing. All that's online if you don't trust that the person doing your fingerprints knows what they're talking about. So you're going to get 2 copies of your fingerprint cards. You need 2 passport photos. Now at my county sheriff, they have everything right there. They'll fingerprint you right there. You go to a separate building, they'll take your picture. You give them the forms. They check over everything for a couple weeks. They do their signature. Be sure that when the chief law enforcement officer makes their signature, or the person representing them makes their signature, that they include their title next to it. Mine got sent back for not having their title next to it. So if they are a lieutenant, make sure they sign lieutenant next to their name. Okay, so we'll assume you've bought your silencer. 2, you need to get your CLEO signature. Okay, and we'll subcategory. You need 2 federal fingerprint cards. Okay, and then you get 2 passport photos. Now, there should be 2 copies of everything at this point. You should have 2 pieces of paper, the Form 4s. The sheriff should have signed both, so everything is original. You'll have your passport photo pasted, 1 on each. You'll include 2 fingerprint cards. 1 goes with each set of paperwork. Now, what's going to happen is the ATF... Okay, well, let's go to step 3. There'll be an address and an amount on the paperwork that'll say send it to ATF. So send all of the included things to ATF. Send to ATF and include your $200 tax stamp fee. So with check for $200 to ATF. Okay, so once the ATF receives that, it'll sit in a pile for maybe a month or 2, and then they'll cash the check. Write down the date that they cash the check. You'll see it in your bank. So write check cash date. That is the date that your form goes pending. Okay. Okay, so write check cash date, that goes pending. You have about 7 months from the time it goes pending until the time they return your form either approved or denied. They're not going to deny you unless you're a terrorist or you're a felon or you have something that's barring you from owning a silencer, or you live in a state that doesn't allow it, something like that. Mine came back with a couple hiccups from the sheriff department who screwed up some paperwork, and an additional... Oh, you also have to do... when you send it to the ATF, you also have to fill out only 1 copy of a certification of citizenship, I think, which is just you signing saying you're a citizen. Okay, so you go pending, you wait. Step 5 is wait. Then you will receive, your dealer will receive the 1 copy back with your passport photo pasted onto it, the original form, everybody signed, and there will actually be a stamp. It looks like an actual postal stamp. It's twice as big as the average stamp, stuck on the paper. That is your original. Take a copy front and back of that, keep it with the silencer at all times once you receive it, and store the original somewhere safe. So again, this is the process for buying a silencer. I'm trying to get this straight here. Okay, number 1, buy the silencer from your FFL. Number 2, you need to get your chief law enforcement officer signature, which will include getting... Get some focus here. 2 federal fingerprint cards, those are the blue ones. 2 passport photos. Those are to be cut out and pasted on the forms. You also need a certification of citizenship form that your FFL should give you. Mail all of those things to the ATF with a $200 tax stamp check. Watch your bank account in the next month or 2. You'll see that clear. Once it clears, your status is pending. and then you wait for about 7 months for an approval. So when you're in the pending status and you want to know your status of your form, you think it's been too long, just getting antsy, whatever, you can call the ATF as long as you have the serial number of the silencer you're buying. Tell them the serial number, your FFL's name, and your name, and they will tell you, we've approved it, it's being mailed out, or it's still pending, we don't know, blah, 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 that sort of thing. So, I hope this process is less intimidating for those of you who want to do it. Please feel free to try it. If you have any questions or I was unclear about anything, feel free to comment and ask me. Take care and enjoy your suppressed shooting.